So what we're going to look at now is collecting a ram or a buck. Typically this is done in those situations where you have a superior ram or buck and you're wanting to collect the semen from them so that you can use them in your doe flock. The idea behind this is that you're using the superior genetics to bring up the overall quality of your flock, or depending on what you're actually selling your offspring for, you're bringing up the genetic quality of those animals. Generally, there's two methods used for collecting semen. The first is through the use of an artificial vagina. The artificial vagina is prepared for collection by use of warm water, approximately 100 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and air between the outer casing and soft inner sleeve. Lubrication with petroleum in the end where the penis enters, and attachment of a graduated collecting glass at the opposite end. Most ram bucks will quickly learn how to mount a restrained ewe or doe, and the act is quick. The person that is doing the collection, they've got to be paying attention and move quickly in order to collect the ram or buck. Second method for collecting semen is through use of an electrical ejaculation item. The ram or buck may be restrained on its side, and a lubricated bipolar electrode is inserted into the rectum. The withdrawn penis is held with a piece of gauze to facilitate insertion into a 10 to 15 millimeter diameter graduated collecting tube. Ejaculation usually occurs after a few short electrical stimulations. And with this method, it is less reliable than using the artificial vagina, as specimens will vary in quality and can be contaminated with urine. When you collect the semen, there's a couple of ways it can be used. You can use it fresh, you can chill it, so if you're collecting in the morning, you're not actually going to be going out and artificially inseminating your ewes or does until later that afternoon. Then you can chill it in order to facilitate use later. You also have frozen thawed. In other words, the semen, especially if you get it in from somewhere else, they'll ship it frozen, and then you can thaw it to use. Anytime you're collecting semen, it will be assessed immediately after collection for contamination, volume, concentration of spermatozoa, and sperm motility, in which this is the wave motion and sperm progression. Also be looking at if there's any deformed sperm in the specimen. If you're planning on freezing the semen, or if you've got a really good buck that has really good semen quality and count and volume, you can extend or dilute the semen. Once you've done that, you can package and store it, or you can use it immediately if you are wanting to do so and your does are using does already. Depending upon the initial concentration of the semen, the processing and storage method, and whether the semen will be used fresh, chilled, or frozen thawed, it can be potentially extended fivefold. So basically what this means for you is, if you're to use the buck naturally and let them go out and naturally breed, one round basically will breed one doe. When you collect it, that one round of semen can be potentially used to fertilize 5 does or ewes. So there is some benefit to it. If you're planning on using it in the chilled version, you've got an operation coming up, and like I said, you go through and you initially collect them, and then over the next day or so, you're going to be actually breeding those ewes or does that you have prepared, and they've been through the synchronization process. Just keep in mind that semen may be stored up to 24 hours by cooling the extended semen to approximately 35 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit over a 90 to 120 minute period, and holding it at this temperature until ready for use. Fertility drops rapidly if not used within 48 hours for the chilled semen. Freezing and storage of semen typically is done in liquid nitrogen tanks. And that, you have a very long storage time on those, as long as you're maintaining and monitoring your nitrogen tanks. Typically, if you're using chilled and frozen thawed semen, you want to go through and assess the semen again, looking at your volume, any potential contamination, concentration of the spermatozoa, and you especially want to make sure that your motility on the sperm is good before use. In the little segment that we'll be showing with this, Bryson is going through and collecting a couple of his bucks for use. One as fresh, and then there's some of it that he's chilling because he's going to be doing a little bit later in the afternoon, so it's not immediate use per se. And some of it that he's collecting from the bucks that he has, he's going to be freezing for later use.
Red Soul, Bryson School. Yeah, you got to work.